Welcome to A Sight for Sore Eyes. I'm glad you're coming back or showing up for the first time. Either way, I'm really glad. Sometimes I struggle, like everyone does, to come up with ideas or even get myself out of the house to go take pictures. I just, the same old place every time, or, I just get, I don't feel like I'm being creative. And then sometimes in the middle of the night, I get an idea that gets me kind of excited about taking some pictures. And that's what happened last night. I woke up about midnight or I don't know, sometime around there, and it just hit me. You haven't done any macro photography for a long time, and it's been a long time. Why don't you do that? I said to myself, and I thought, well, yeah, that's probably the idea. That's a good idea. So I got up the next morning and came out here in the studio and started looking through my gear and I don't have any real macro lenses, not the high powered ones that you can take a picture of a ant's eye with, but I do have this this old lens right here. This is a Vivitar Series 1 70 to 210 lens, and I've had this baby for probably 30 years. I don't know. I've had it a long time. It came out in 1970s, maybe 75, and to be honest, I don't know when I got this one, where I got it, or why I got it, but I have it, and it's been just mainly sitting on the shelf. I use it occasionally just to play with it, but it's got a macro mode on it. Not a real powerful one, but it does have a macro mode on it. And so that's what I use for the pictures we're going to see. And I was, and with the D200 camera, this is the D200, my trusty old D200. So the pictures we're going to look at, that's what I used for every one of these pictures. My setup, you know, it's not that fancy, even though it looks nice. These pictures look nice. The setup was just really easy, and it didn't cost. I didn't have to go to town and buy stuff or anything like that. What I did, let me show you here. Let me get this. So I have 2 sheets of foam board. That's all I used, these 2 sheets of foam board right here. I put one on top of my printer, leaning against the wall like this. Took the other one, just buttered it right up to it like that, sitting on top of the printer. And that's it. That's all I did. It was just real simple and took no time at all. And got those set up, and I thought, well, that's good, Ron. Maybe you could take some pictures if you had something to take pictures of. So I went in the house and started looking around, and I found quite a few things and brought them out here and got them all straightened out, and I started laying or setting them down on the foam board, and all I had was the 2 pieces of foam board, my tripod, my camera, and my lens. I didn't use any special lighting. There's a couple windows here in the studio. I use that, and then I have some overhead lights that I can adjust, and they're on a track lighting thing, so I can kind of get up there with the ladder and point them wherever I want. I mean, it's just a really simple chore. And so that's what I did. There's no special lighting here at all. Nothing special about this. But I got some pretty nice pictures, I think. So before I go on, let's go. Let's take a look at these pictures, and then when we come back, well, talk a little bit more about them and explain how I did them a little bit more. So, yeah. So let's look at the pictures, and then we'll come right back. Let's go. So, not too bad, I guess, is it? No, there's 3 or 4 of them up in there I'm pretty impressed with. I'm impressed with them all, actually, but there's 2 or 3, maybe 4 that I really like in the bunch there. The bunnies in the carriage, that was my wife's knick-knack. She's got it on her shelf, and that came out pretty nice. And I used to be a big fan of NASCAR in the 90s and into the 2000s a little bit. But and so I had a lot of NASCAR memorabilia that up on a shelf, and these things were still in their boxes. But I thought it was worth taking them out of their original boxes and making some pictures of them. And so that's where those all came from. The little model car, the Model T, I think it is. Let me look here. That was Model A, 1931 Ford Model A Roadster. That was a gift to me by one of my aunts, my Aunt Betty. I was probably 17 years old then when she gifted me that, and I just kept it, and it's a little box all stored away. It's never been out on display, and so I like that one quite a bit. But most of that stuff is just stuff I had laying around. I mean, anybody would have that, a lot of that laying around. So every picture I hear was shot at f/22 on that lens to increase my depth of field as much as possible. And I was kind of surprised at how well some of them look. Some of them got a lot of, you can tell, and the background only blurs out in a hurry, but some of them were pretty good. Anyway, so that's the story about all that stuff, and I was real happy with the lens and the camera. So I did print one out for us, and I'm pretty surprised at how well some of these came out, I gotta tell you. So this is a 12 by 18 image on 13 by 19 Epson cold press natural paper. I printed it on the Epson P800 printer, and I really like this picture. So here's that 1931 Ford. Look at that. That is so nice. Let me stand up here. I mean, that came out so well. It's just a pretty print. I was just so amazed at everything on it. The rear wheels are a little soft because of the depth of field, but other than that, and you don't really notice it at all. So that's a pretty picture, that little car. And when I say little, folks, I mean in little. I'm going to show you the car. See if I can do this here. Here's the car right here. This is it. This is the car I took this picture of. And you can see there's a big difference in size there. Yeah. It's a cool little car. So yeah, I got up pretty close to it. I mean, I enlarged it quite a bit. This was a 4-second exposure, f/22 ISO 100. And, I just, all I did on these pictures, I had the camera on a tripod. What took the most time was getting it in focus, because that lens is, of course, a manual focus lens, and you focus by moving the zoom ring back and forth, not with the focus ring, but with the zoom ring. You move it up, it slides up and down. And so most of my time was spent trying to get sharp focus on it. And I did pretty good for an old guy that can't see very well. So there it is. I wanted to just share these with you today and tell you that, you know, you can do stuff like this. Anybody can. Just get it. You don't have to have foam board. Just, it doesn't have to be white. Get something that's black. Just make a solid background. If you have to, you can clone out some imperfections in Photoshop. Only one or two of my pictures, you know, where the two sheets butted up together, I had a little shadow line there on two of them, and I just cloned it out a little bit. It wasn't hard at all, just to clone that line out, and it makes it look a pretty professional looking image when you do that. You could use black. I think black might look okay too if you had something black. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, just try it and do it, and you'll be surprised, I think. Just take your time and be careful with your focus. And if you don't have any kind of macro lens, just get as close as you can and use a little zoom lens, you know, if you can. Just whatever you can do. Just try it and spend a couple hours working on it, and I think you'll be happy you did it. I was. Anyway, that's all I got today. Just wanted to tell you about my macro experience. You guys take care, and I will see you on the next video. And get your cameras out and go out there and take a picture or look at your camera. Work with it. Memorize the settings on it. Memorize where everything's at. Just think about photography, you know, and then maybe you'll get out there and take some pictures. Have a good day, everybody, and stay safe, please. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time I come online here. Thank you. Thanks for visiting me, and thanks for the likes and comments, too. See you all later. Bye.